Well, welcome to the video, and what we're going to be talking about today is the new Trek Madone prototype. Now, the prototype offers something that other frames don't offer, and we all know that frames have holes in them. We have holes so we can fit the forks on, we have holes in them so you can put the bottom bracket in. But this new Trek Madone, it offers an extra hole just under the seat post. Well, jokes aside, it is a pretty unusual design, and some people really like it and some people don't. So let's roll the intro and let's have a little bit of a talk about what could this design probably be for. Trek have really done something different with this new prototype Trek Madone. They're not actually admitting that it's a Trek Madone or any new bike at the moment, and it was quite humorous. One of the Road CC guys was asking the riders of the team that were riding the new Trek Madone, and they just didn't want to talk about it. So we can see that it's quite different to the last Madone. The last Madone had a system which isolated the seat tube from the chainstays, and it gave you some extra comfort. And people were saying that this bike was pretty heavy, and this is why they've changed the design. But this new type of design, which has got a hole underneath the seat, I don't think would reduce that much weight. And we can get into that in a minute. But it is a radical design from what we normally see on bikes. And what are the complications that may arise from this design? And possibly, what could it be offering as far as something different on a bike as a practical sense? Now, what I think they've tried to do, this is not really about aero, what I think they've tried to do is take away the old zips and the old ISP system, because that gave a lot of problems. It had a few warranty issues. And what they've tried to do is build it into the frame, some compliance. And what they've done is by breaking the two triangles, the rear triangle and the front triangle, and basically the connection's done by these fins that stick out like this, then this is going to give it some flex, because the flatter you make them, the more they're going to flex, because they're not straight up and being rigid. And it has to be transferred via the seat stays, which are a much smaller member than you would have with the seat tube. So this is what I think they've tried to achieve. It looks aerodynamic, it looks cool, but I think it's more about trying to isolate the seat, which is on a cantilever off the top tube, and isolate it from the down tube. But the problem I think with making this type of design is maintaining quality control. And we know the industry has a bit of a problem with that. Now, that piece is quite complicated. It has a lot of turns, a lot of small parts on it. And they may have used some sort of mandrel or made it in two parts and joined it together. I'm not too sure, but it just makes that whole concept of making sure that the layups and all that are very, very accurate, because that could be a point of fatigue, because what you're doing is you're applying a lot of force to those little fins that are sticking out, and you're also applying a lot of force for the seat stays, which now don't have the support of the seat tube. And we've also got the seat is mounted now on a cantilever piece that comes off the top tube. And that could also be a point of failure, especially for heavier riders. So, yeah, it looks cool. And I agree, I actually quite like the look of it. But I think as far as an engineered piece and strength-wise, and let's face it, a lot of riders who do recreational riding are not the lightest of people. I think this could be an issue. And they could have failures from cracks and the carbon failing or starting to break, because they've cantilevered the weight of the person out over this little piece from the top tube, and there's really no direct support via this complex array of seat stays, and then there's these flutes that go and connect onto the seat tube. So this is where I think it looks great. And I know a lot of people have commented it looks great, but I think if you're a heavier rider, this could give some issues. I think Trek might actually have some warranty claims on this. It's unique and it's something different, but I don't know if it will be adopted across the board with other brands. I do think that it's a complicated piece, and I would probably say that they haven't got a lot of weight out of the bike. They haven't got the bike down considerably in weight by changing to this new system, because that part of the bike, or that section, that piece, which is like a hole, will need to be made significantly stronger, because the forces are not direct anymore. They're traveling via these pieces that are actually flatter. So then you're getting into a beam situation where that beam has to be able to withstand the flexing forces that are being put onto it like this. Well, anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. Leave your comments down below. Remember to share and also subscribe down below if you're a Ninja Watcher, and I will see you next vid. Cheers.